Capricorn, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of June. So before I get started on the energy of June, which is actually going to be really positive for you, as a Capricorn rising, I love this for us, but this is most applicable for your rising sign. And so if you don't know what your rising sign is, you can run a free birth chart. There's plenty of websites out there. You do need to know the time that you were born and the location. And it's going to be the ruler of your first house or your ascendant. So it's that zodiac sign. And so I said it was most applicable there, but it is also applicable for your sun sign and your moon sign. And so your rising sign is how other people perceive you, especially when they first meet you. And then your sun sign is how you express yourself. And then your moon sign is how you process everything emotionally. I was getting so excited. I was jumping ahead of that and really wanted to get into the energy because this is actually a pretty positive month for Capricorn and Capricorn rising. And so kind of jumping into the energies, there's a lot of Gemini energy and a lot of Cancer energy. And so what this means for you specifically is a big impact on your daily life, your daily routine, as well as that significant other, marriage, partner, if you're married, significant relationship. And really this would encompass all significant relationships, so all those one-to-one type of relationships that you have with those people that are really meaningful. We usually just refer to this as the house of marriage because predominantly that's what it is, but it is also those significant relationships. And so to start off the month, we have Mercury enter the sign of Gemini, and so that's going to happen on the 3rd at 3:37 in the morning Eastern time. And so this Mercury in Gemini energy, well, first, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, so this is a lot of conversation, processing information, really getting into those details. And it will be conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. So Jupiter just moved into Gemini towards the end of May. And so this Mercury conjunct Jupiter, lots of conversations, detailed conversations about expansion and growth, sitting in your daily routines. So what is it that you're trying to grow? What kind of abundance are you going after in your daily life? Because that's really being highlighted here. I do love that, Jupiter and Gemini energy for us. We'll also have Mercury and Gemini conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so Uranus is one of those planets of transformation. Taurus is very grounded, very practical. This is sitting in the 5th house. So 5th house is children, hobbies, short-term relationships, but probably not really going to be highlighted much here just because there is that 7th house connection. So you're going to see in a minute where there's going to be a lot of conversations and things with your significant other, but this Uranus and Taurus energy. So this is about liberating change that's meant to be very practical and very grounded and focused on your own kind of inner balance here. And so because that is sitting in your 5th house, there could be conversations or might be something that you're learning about your daily life that opens up here. And I mean, it's a conjunction, so it's a blending of energies. And so there's something changing where maybe you have more time to spend with your children or you have more time to spend on your hobbies and things like that. We'll also have Mercury and Gemini sextile Neptune and Pisces. And so Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So it's all about your dreams, your wishes, your goals, things like that. And so Neptune and Pisces is sitting in 3rd house. 3rd house is all about communication. This could be siblings, neighbors, short distance travel. So there's a lot of things that are connected to the 3rd house. And so this might not be the same for everybody, but it is coming down to maybe detailed conversations or creating opportunities, maybe to have the relationship you want with your siblings or your neighbors, or to travel short distances. So if you're a big fan of road trips, this would be creating some sort of opportunity. There's something happening within your daily life that is creating some sort of opportunity here for you to have what you want. And it could even just be your communication, how you want people to understand you. If you feel like you're constantly being misinterpreted, this is creating an opportunity for you to be able to speak more clearly, communicate in a way that other people hear you and accurately hear you. And if it is connected to 5th house, if you have communication as one of these hobbies that you enjoy doing, like a YouTube channel or something along those lines, that's being highlighted here. Then we'll also have Mercury sextile Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so Pluto is one of those transformational planets as well. So that is death and rebirth. It's been it's been in Aquarius since January. It's been retrograde for a little bit, so this is not new energy for us at this point, but it is kind of internal transformation that's taking place. For you, this is in your second house, so your relationship with money is probably changing, and it probably has been. And what this is happening, and what's happening in your daily life, the conversations that you're having, understanding the depths of everything, it's creating some sort of opportunity for more change when it comes to your personal finances, creating that financial security for yourself. Maybe you could be having some sort of discussion with somebody around investing that money if you have some to spare. And so lots of opportunity that you would have to act on, but again, opportunity. So positive in that way. And then on the 6th, we'll have the new moon in the sign of Gemini. And so that's going to happen at 8:38 in the morning Eastern time. And so when this happens, you have the moon and the sun at the same degree point in the sky. So the sun is really highlighting how you feel, but they're not alone. So Venus is right there. All 3 planets are at 16 degrees of Gemini. And so lots of harmony, lots of balance, focusing here on what you value, what you want. It wants to bring things together. And so if there's something here that you want to bring together, something within your daily life, you're looking for some sort of harmony, some sort of balance. How do you feel about everything? How do you want to express all of that? That's part of this new moon energy. Then we'll also have the sun and moon conjunct Mercury. And so this one here, it's just more conversation and really maybe understanding the impact of all of this that's happening within your daily life. How do you feel about all of this? Is this something that you like? Do you want to express it more? We'll also have the sun and moon trine the south node in the sign of Libra. And so Libra for you is your 10th house, so career and public reputation. And so how do you feel, and maybe what you're learning about your daily life? It's easily flowing with some sort of harmony and balance within your career. So with the south node in the sign of Libra, this would be something that you already know, something already comfortable, maybe you're already established in some way, and it's kind of getting back to that type of energy where things feel like they're in some sort of balance here, because that sun and moon in the sign of Gemini, I mean, it's a trine, and so easily flowing, whatever's happening in your daily life easily flows with your career. We'll also have the sun and moon in Gemini sextile the north node in Aries. And so north node in Aries for you is your 4th house of home. And so where the sun and moon are creating an opportunity for you to take some sort of action as it relates to your home. And this could be something, I mean, you think about your daily life. Do you want to move? Do you like where you are? If this is your rising sign, how does your sun sign play into this? If this is your sun sign, how does your rising sign play into this? Because I can tell you, having just recorded the Sagittarius one, I'm a Sagittarius sun, Capricorn rising. There's a lot of synergy between these. So it looks like I might be moving here at some point, or at least contemplating. But regardless, you have this opportunity to take some sort of action as it relates to your home. This is one of those things where you would have to act on it. So it's not going to just organically happen. We'll also have the sun and moon square Saturn in Pisces. And so this is going to be kind of a reoccurring theme throughout the month of June. There's going to be a lot of squares to both Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Pisces, but you'll see at the end of the month, there is actually going to be an opportunity to have all of this kind of come into some sort of balance, or really start the process of bringing everything back in and creating some sort of harmony here. But for now, there is some sort of obstacle or challenge between how you feel, what's changing within your daily life, and this work that you might be doing from a communication standpoint, or maybe something connected to actually traveling to work, because Saturn is all about work. Pisces, what do you enjoy? Like, what is it that you want out of this? Because that's Pisces energy, but 3rd house, communication, short distance travel. So it looks like there's something happening here that might be connected to work, because we have Saturn in the mix, but also because of the north node and the south node, because you have this 4th house, 10th house energy. So home and work and communication, that could also be travel. So there's a lot happening here. Again, maybe some obstacles and challenges coming to the surface for you. And I say maybe, but I mean, how significant they are is going to be a little bit different for everybody, but they will exist. And then on the 9th, we'll have Mars enter the sign of Taurus. So that's going to happen at 12:35 in the morning Eastern time. And so when this happens, Mars and Taurus conjunct Chiron and Aries. So Mars is the planet of action. Aries is the zodiac sign of action. Mars is the ruler of Aries. And so you've got Aries energy on both sides. So we've got Mars and Taurus taking some sort of action here that's very practical, very grounded, blending with these actions that you're taking to heal some sort of wound here, because that Chiron energy is the wounded healer. And so this energy blends together. And so there's some sort of action that you're taking as it relates to children or your hobbies. Something you enjoy doing in your free time or your personal time is helping to heal some sort of wound coming to the surface as it relates to children. Or I say children because this is a blending of the energies, but it's also your home and your home life. This could be your ancestors. There could be some sort of ancestral wound that is healed through maybe trying to have children or something along those lines, because that could absolutely be Mars and Taurus energy. And so that's not going to be applicable for everybody, but really what's coming to the surface is healing. There's some sort of wound that's been coming to the surface as it relates to your home and your home life, and this is giving you an opportunity to heal it. We'll also have Mars and Taurus square the moon in Cancer, and so the moon is the ruler of Cancer. It's all about your emotions, the depths of your emotions. And so the action that you're taking as it relates to children or as it relates to your personal hobbies is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to your significant relationship here. So your significant other, maybe marriage partner, if there's something here where you maybe need to prioritize kids over your spouse or something along those lines, that would be some sort of obstacle or challenge that could be coming to the surface. Or it could be something that you do with your hobby that maybe now you don't have the time to spend with your significant other like you used to, or it's done in a different way, and that's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge. And this obstacle and challenge is really how you feel about the relationship or something connected to that, because that's moon in Cancer energy. So this isn't a conversation you're having with this person. It's how you feel about your relationship with this person. Then we'll have Mars and Taurus square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so the actions that you're taking as they relate to kids, your hobbies, creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to the internal changes you're making to your relationship with money. And so this could be that maybe you are spending more money on a hobby or children or whatever it is than you had intended. And that's in conflict with the savings plan that you come up with for yourself or something along those lines. It would be that type of energy. Then on the 17th, we actually have two planets move into the sign of Cancer. And so the first one is Venus. So Venus moves into Cancer. That's going to happen at 2:20 in the morning Eastern time. And so Venus in the sign of Cancer. Cancer, your emotions. Venus, harmony, balance, bringing things together. It's the ruler of relationships. And so you can kind of already see Venus, Cancer, a lot of depths of feelings as they come around relationships, especially for you, since this sits in your 7th house of marriage and those significant relationships. And so this is really bringing things together. But this Venus in Cancer energy is also conjunct the Sun in Gemini. And so how you feel and what you're trying to bring together with your significant other is conjunct conversations around your daily life, getting into the details here. And so this is a really easy flowing energy because this is a very blended type of energy. So it's really positive in that way. So there could be conversations about living, like how do you want to live, and how do you want to maybe live with this person? Is that an opportunity? Because we've had a lot of 4th house coming up here. That could be some sort of wound that's coming to the surface, like you didn't feel like you ever could have that relationship. There might be a conversation here around moving in with another person. And I say that because the next one is Venus in Cancer conjunct Mercury in Gemini. And so lots of conversations here around daily life, daily schedules, how you feel about the relationship, bringing things together within the relationship. We'll also have Venus in Cancer trine the moon in Libra. And so the moon, again, your emotions. Libra is about bringing things together. Venus is the ruler of Libra. It's also the ruler of Taurus. But Libra is in your 10th house of career and public reputation. And so how you feel about your relationship with your significant other easily flows with how you feel and how balanced you feel at work. And so there's something really harmonious about those two playing together, your significant other and your career or public reputation, blend very well together. Then we have Venus in Cancer, sextile Mars in Taurus. And so your significant other, the relationship that you have, the depths of the feelings, bringing things together, it's creating some sort of opportunity for you to take some sort of grounded action. So if you've thought about having kids, this is creating an opportunity for maybe you to have kids, because that Mars in Taurus is taking action that's practical and grounded as it relates to your house of children. Or it can be your hobbies and things like that, the things that you enjoy doing in your spare time. I am not going to say that it has anything to do with a short-term relationship, because that just seems odd that it would be related to that. But we'll also have Venus in Cancer square Neptune in Pisces. And so again, all of these squares to the planets within Pisces, when it comes to how you want to express yourself, how you want to be, or maybe that short distance that you want to live, like maybe there is another area that you want to live, maybe there's just like a relocation could be highlighted there. So Neptune in Pisces is going to be a little bit different for everybody. So what is your ideal location? Is it short distance? Because that's usually what's represented with the third house. It would be something that you can get to by car. And so how you feel about your relationship and the kind of the harmony, the balance, the things that you're bringing into that relationship, coming together with this person, is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge here. It might even just be the way that you communicate. It's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge. But like I said, at the end of the month, you're going to see that there is an opportunity to work on that. And so the same day that Venus enters Cancer, we have Mercury entering Cancer. So it happens just a few hours later at 5:07 in the morning on the 17th. And so Mercury in Cancer likes to talk about your feelings and understand the impact of your feelings. And so because Cancer just moved in there at 2:20 in the morning, and now we're looking at Mercury at 5:07. So these energies are really blended together. So think of bringing things together with your significant other, the depths of your feelings, conversation. It's now all sitting in that seventh house energy, all that marriage partner, significant other, that significant relationship. And so a lot of harmony, a lot of balance, a lot of coming together with this person. And then Mercury in Cancer conjunct the Sun in Gemini. So really highlighting here all of the details. How do you feel about everything? Conversations. This feels like it's very open and direct type of conversation, which is Gemini energy. And then we'll have Mercury in Cancer trine the Moon in Scorpio. And so the Moon, your emotions, Scorpio's transformation. So how do you feel about what's changing? Because there's this easy flowing energy between the conversations you're having with your significant other, and Moon in Scorpio is sitting in your 11th house of community, your friends, your group of friends. And so easy blending of the relationships together. So if you have a significant other or somebody that you kind of see in that way, and that person hasn't met your friends, this does kind of indicate that it would be an easy time to meet those friends, to kind of incorporate this person, because that would be some sort of change that would be taking place within your group of friends, where now they can meet the person that you're with. That could be something highlighted here. Mercury in Cancer will also square Neptune in Pisces. And again, not a surprise. We just saw that with the Venus energy, and we'll see it again here with the Sun in a minute. But square that Neptune in Pisces. And so obstacles and challenges when it comes to maybe communicating the way that you want, or being seen, perceived the way that you want to be perceived, or living in the location where you want to be. So something connected to that. When the Sun enters Cancer on the 20th at 4:51 in the afternoon. So now what we're going to have is the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in the sign of Cancer, all in a conjunction. And so this is all sitting in that significant relationship, your significant other, marriage partner, however you want to term the person. Or if not, it's within those relationships. So this is very clearly expressing how you feel about the situation. What do you want out of this? What kind of balance can be restored? Really highlighting here, getting into those details, because Mercury, again, likes to get into the details. And so really expressing what you value about your relationship, your partner, and that kind of energy. We'll also have the Sun square Neptune in Pisces. And so again, with the Neptune and Pisces square. And so this is coming down to your 7th house, 3rd house. So something happening here within your significant relationship is creating obstacles or challenges, but it's almost like your relationship is going through some sort of growth phase, and it's everything else just needs to catch up, because that's what this energy feels like. It can get there, it just might take a minute to get there. Then we have the full moon in the sign of Capricorn, so that's going to happen on the 21st at 9:08 p.m. Eastern time. And so when this happens, we will have the sun and the moon at opposite points in the sky, because that's what the full moon does. And so sun in Cancer, moon in Capricorn. What this means for you is sun in Cancer, so really highlighting how you feel about your significant other. Moon in Capricorn, how do you feel about yourself and your sense of duty and responsibility to yourself? Because there's a push-pull between like a me versus we type of energy with this a full moon in the sign of Capricorn. And so it's more about, where do you find that balance in between the two? What is it that you need to release? Because the full moons are great for releasing something that just doesn't belong anymore. And odds are, because of all the conversations you've been having with your significant other, that's going to be really clear what needs to go away. It just doesn't work for you anymore, and there's no reason to hold on to it. And then we'll have the sun conjunct Mercury in the sign of Cancer. And so during this full moon, we know the sun, Mercury, Venus, they're all in Cancer. They're all near each other. So they're having lots of conversations. We love you. We love this. And let's highlight this. And how do we feel? But then you've got the moon in Capricorn. So the moon in Capricorn is opposite all of that energy. And so what this really means is there's some sort of sense of duty that you feel to yourself that is in some sort of conflict with your relationship, your significant relationship here, and what's happening within it, what balance you're trying to get to, or highlighting how you feel about the person, what you value about the relationship. And so this feels a lot like there's some sort of internal change that needs to happen, because this moon in Capricorn can be very limiting and very restricting. So if you've always seen yourself in a certain light, or always wanted to be seen in a certain light, but now you're thinking about it all differently because this person, this relationship is growing and expanding. And so, because again, we had Jupiter and Gemini at the beginning of the month. So there's a lot that's taking place here when it comes to daily routines and your significant other and what's happening in those conversations. And it feels like this moon in Capricorn is requiring you to really evaluate that sense of duty you have to yourself, and how do you bridge that with your significant other. But it's more internal than anything else. It's not like your partner has to come to the table with this. It's more you. The interesting piece with this full moon is that we have the sun in Cancer, we have the moon in Capricorn, and each one of those individually is creating a square to Neptune and Pisces. And it's just because of how they look on the chart. And there will be a point in time where I figure out how to show that when I do these recordings. And so it'll be a little bit easier to see exactly what I'm talking about. And so when it comes to your relationship and everything that's coming to light, the depths of your feelings, the conversations that you've had with this person, it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to your maybe, I would say your communication style or short distance, something along those lines. But this moon in Capricorn energy, and so how you feel about yourself and the duty that you feel towards yourself is also creating some sort of obstacle here. And so it feels a lot like maybe the way that you've been processing things needs to be modified, really like the way that you see things coming towards you or your perception of a situation. That would be third house energy. And so really understanding here, it's a square, it can be worked with, and we'll get to that in a minute. And so while the sun was talking to all these planets over here and the moon was opposite, the moon is having other conversations. And so the moon trine Mars in the sign of Taurus. So we've got the moon in Capricorn in your first house. So how do you feel about yourself? And this would be your physical self. Also aligns with the actions that you're taking in your fifth house. And so are you trying to have children? Are you pursuing some sort of hobby or something along the lines of, I would say hobby, like a passion project, something that you just enjoy doing in your spare time? So it's kind of like you made this deal with yourself that you would always do this or you want to do this. And so this is really acting on it. It's an easy flowing energy. It's not going to require any action in order for you to experience this. But it all really lines up really well. This moon in Capricorn is also trine Chiron in Aries. And so what I really like about this is how you feel about yourself, the way that you've been working on yourself, the way that you've been taking care of yourself. It's actually helping to heal some sort of wound coming to the surface within your home environment. So this could be an ancestral wound, for sure, or it could be something connected to your home life. Like you've created such a structure for yourself and it feels really good about the structure that you've created for yourself. You've created an environment where you feel good and you're exuding that confidence, and it's helping to heal maybe insecurities from the past or something along those lines. I mean, we've had finance come up here a couple of times, and the security blanket, that safety blanket you're creating for yourself, could be something that's also tied into this in a way, and that could be connected to maybe you grew up poor and now you made something because you worked on yourself and you really put that effort in and you focused on your own priorities here, that you were able to create the home life that you wanted, that you never would have been able to have growing up because you did grow up poor. And so this is helping to heal some sort of wound connected to that. So it's something that you did, though, to heal this wound. This is not something that just organically happened. And then at the end of the month, on the 29th, we'll have Saturn station retrograde in the sign of Pisces. And so that's going to happen at 3:06 in the afternoon Eastern time. And so Saturn is actually the ruler of your sign. Saturn is all about work, responsibility, things like that. Very familiar concepts to Capricorn, whether you're sun, rising, or moon. We all feel this sense of duty and responsibility. And we all like to have, for the most part, I say most part because everybody's a little bit different, but we like to have a game plan. We like to plan things out, have some sort of strategy in place. And so where Saturn stations retrograde in the sign of Pisces, all of that work that you are used to doing outside of yourself is now going to be reflected inward. And so Saturn sitting in your third house, so when it comes to your communication or processing of information, maybe siblings, whatever it is, short distance travel, whatever that third house energy is for you specifically, you're going to be looking inward to work on yourself in order to have exactly what you want, communicate the way that you want, see things the way that you want them to be seen. And so when Saturn stations retrograde in Pisces, it will be trine Mercury in Cancer. And so the internal work that you're going to do on yourself in this context is probably more related to conversation with that Mercury energy, that third house energy. It's all about conversation with your significant other, with the feelings that you have for this person. All of that is very clearly flowing together. So this could just really relate to communicating and working on the way that you communicate with your partner. There might be something that has been coming to the surface with the way that you communicate with him or her. We'll also have Saturn retrograde in Pisces, trine Venus in Cancer. And so where it trined Mercury, now it's trining Venus. And so a lot of emphasis here on working on yourself and maybe the way that you communicate, expressing yourself with your significant other, maybe finding a way to express your feelings about the relationship, what you value about the relationship here. There's something really positive connected to that. And then we also have Saturn retrograde, sextile Mars in Taurus. And so again, all of these squares, this is where it's all coming into play. This one's creating an opportunity. So the internal work that you're going to do on yourself is creating some sort of opportunity for you to take some sort of grounded, practical action when it comes to children or when it comes to your hobbies and passion projects, things like that. So really, really positive from that perspective. This is going to be a pretty good month for you, Capricorn. I'm actually really excited. As a Capricorn rising, I'm really excited about this. So Capricorn, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.